Good afternoon. It is June the 30th and I am back. I was away for 3 weeks over in France and England. I didn't do any walking while I was over there. So I haven't died. I'm here and I'm actually doing something special. I'm going to be taking a boat over to Willow Island over here to look at the setup for Canada Day fireworks tomorrow, which I usually stream or at least record. And last year, Garrett, who runs Paradise Fireworks, was quite taken with my video and invited me to perhaps come over and get a closer look this year, and so here I am. And for the night itself, I hope to be right over there in that point of land, which is somewhere that nobody else is allowed, so I hope to get some really great fireworks pictures. So the boat over there is going to be coming to get me over here, down here at this boat landing, which I've never walked down to before in all the time I've been walking here. And then we'll go over and take a look at the fireworks setup. I took a fireworks safety course, so I actually could assist with the fireworks if I wished, but I took it just so I could do this. And there's the boat that will be coming. It's a really pretty day down here. Here comes the boat. I don't think I've ever, well, yeah, I have been on a boat on the lake, but not very frequently. I've never been on the boat that takes you to Willow Island, that's for sure. It's funny because with the movement of the water here, you feel like this feels like it's all moving. Here comes the boat. Yep, I'm Edward.
Oh, I know you.
Yeah.
That used to be Cable Regina.
That's right. So I'm live streaming my little walking in Regina, and today it's going to be the fireworks setup over there. So I've never even been on Willow Island before.
I've heard you, I think I read that somewhere, you wrote down somewhere when you were watching.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
Well, here, I can change that today.
Are we allowed to go over there?
No, they're actually setting up for the fireworks.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. I know it's usually private islands, so.
Yeah. Starting Sundays in July.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's between 11 and 2.
Okay.
Come down here, you come across for free.
Okay, perfect.
Just bring your own picnic stuff.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Bye.
Just so we do have like jackets with the boxes. You don't have to wear them. I just have to make sure you know where they are.
Okay.
Just pretend you're listening.
I probably can't quite stand up in the lake here, but
You can probably stand up. You might not be able to walk.
yeah.
Like it's steps.
I took the fireworks course, so I could actually help over there if I wanted to, but that's not what I was. I took it so I could do this. I'm going to be on the point of land over there inside the exclusion zone to shoot the fireworks.
I'll try not to get you way too big white. You want to go over there?
No, we're just going over to the island. Not exactly walking in Regina, I'm currently floating in Regina. It's not a long trip.
Okay, here they're going to build a little fence, wire fence around the island.
Yeah.
Helps keep the geese out or something. When they have babies, they can't fly very well.
Right.
That's why we have grass.
No, I've lived in Regina since 1988. I've never been on Willow Island.
That's okay.
Until
We've been
today.
here since 1940, so it's understandable.
And I'll find Garrett here somewhere.
Yep. He's over, he was by the canopy. So just go up, turn right, and you'll see him.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we are on Willow Island, which I have never been on before. Hello. Here I am. Here you are.
I'm just gonna wash my hands and change my shirt here.
Okay. So
Feel free to wander around, have a look.
I've never been on Willow Island before, so it's
It's kind of a work in progress.
Yeah. So here we've got the tubes for launching fireworks. They're in the process of setting those up. There's quite a nice, the island is bigger when you're on it than it looks like when you're over on the shore. It's got mushrooms and everything. I had no idea, really. Much bigger island than I gave it credit for. I could actually come over here after the explosives are in place on Canada Day tomorrow. Maybe I will. Although you have to stay 30 meters away from the fireworks with your electronic devices. I'm really quite startled by how large it is. It's an optical illusion, I guess. As if, I know you can book it and have events over here. Number of nice picnic areas. Can't really get down to the water. It's got trees all the way around it. In a way, it looks bigger than it is because you can't see the water. Everywhere you run into this line of... there's a bit of a path through there. Maybe not. Looks like a path. Not really. Kind of, but not really. So yes, I took a fireworks course earlier in the year. So I am actually theoretically qualified to help set up the fireworks. But that's not why I took it. I'm not planning to make that a part-time job. There's the water. Had I ever been over here, I should have used it to in the Shards of Excalibur, because right over there in the water that you can't see is where Excalibur ends up at the end of that series. Which, if you'd like to buy it, is available everywhere. First book is called Song of the Sword. Yeah, so in a way, the island feels bigger because you can't see through the trees, so you feel like you're in a glade when in fact you're surrounded by water on all sides. A few covered areas here as well, which is where they seem to have been having lunch a minute or two ago. So the tubes over here are much bigger than the ones that we used in training. These are the big cannons. You see fire extinguishers everywhere around it here. We're just getting started setting up. So how far along are you?
We're actually pretty much done for the day almost.
Yeah.
We're just sealing stuff up, just doing our last checks, making sure we have the right tubes and everything, and anything that we need to pick up.
So these are all in place where they'll be firing from?
100%, yeah.
I always pictured somehow that they'd have to be in some long line or along the edge of
the computer software does everything and kind of tells me my angles and where I want it when I design it. Speaking of which, that point over there
Yes.
that we talked about
Yeah.
would be a nice smoke. So pretty much what's going to happen here...
And I already have a Paradise Fireworks hat from when I took the course.
Yes, you should. So pretty much what's going to happen here is all these are going this way when they shoot at 10-degree angles. For our audience over there, and with our point there, you'll just be a little bit off center to see it, right? But you'll be nice and close.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll use this or if I'll just use my hand, because this reacts slowly when you
Oh, I see.
put it up and down because it's designed
The
to...
simulation, when I looked at it, watched it from that point, you should get everything on one camera without having to move it or anything.
Well, I can maybe bring a tripod over, might even be the way to go.
That might be your better.
So there's some big tubes here.
Yeah, those are 6-inch.
That's the biggest.
3-inch, 4-inch. These are 6s, and then those are 5s there. And 6-inch is the biggest we can legally shoot here. We do supply and are able to do up to 12-inch shells if we have the safety distances to legally shoot them.
Where do you shoot those?
White bear is legal for up to 8 inches. It just depends on the site. It all comes down to the site and your safety distances to the spectators. That's what pretty much dictates our shell size for everything.
How many shells will you shoot altogether?
There's 380 some cues, so around that. And then the cakes, they're multi-shot, right? So
Yeah.
a cake you could have 50. So one of the cakes I brought is a 150-shot cake. It's a big bugger.
But they decided you couldn't do the barge, huh?
No, unfortunately,
bad.
the city decided that they didn't want to approve that part of the permit. So let's hopefully next year we can get that sorted and spend a little more time on it.
So where will your control?
We'll be as far away from this as we possibly can be. I don't want to be anywhere near this stuff when it starts going off.
No, it'd be exciting.
Well, it's loud enough and good enough over there. We wear hearing protection, and it's extremely loud.
Yeah. Oh, really cool. And you got the media coming over this afternoon?
Yeah, 2.
I guess I'm kind of the media, but not really.
Yeah, that's all good.
This is actually the first time I've done walking in Regina since I got back from my trip. So
Oh, okay, where'd you go?
we were in France and
nice.
England. Yeah, France for 2 weeks.
Yep.
I'm not sure this is the most exciting video I ever shot, just standing here talking, but that's okay.
No, it is what it is when it comes to setup day, right?
Yeah.
You can come when we start wiring and stuff. It's just you gotta be filming over there, right? We just can't have electronics near the explosives.
I probably won't. So what time should I show up over there?
I would be set up and ready before 10.
For 10.
In case the client wants to shoot early, the client could say, well, we're ready, we want to go at 10, or it's
It's usually
scheduled.
dark enough by 10.
I know, I don't think it will be.
It's usually 10:30.
Normally the plan is 10:30, yeah.
Well, so say hi, Garrett.
Hi, I'm Garrett with Paradise Fireworks.
All right. Well, I guess I've seen it. Yeah, I had never been on Willow Island. It actually is bigger than I thought it is.
There's a lot of room here, isn't there, for
Yeah.
events and stuff like that? And then Don, the gentleman that drove you in the boat, does an amazing job keeping that.
So he's kind of responsible for the island.
Yeah. And then on top of that, once we're done shooting, right, we have to clean up we pick up all the little pieces.
Oh yeah,
and
because
a
there
little
must
bit
be lots of
tinfoil.
debris and
Yeah.
yeah.
We want it nice and clean for anybody else who wants to use the island.
No, I'm quite startled by how large it is. And it feels larger because you can't see through the trees to the water, so you feel like you're just in a glade somewhere.
There's a nice spot over there. You go through the fence.
Yeah, I was
There's a
gonna do
goose
that.
over there that has its hen that might squawk at you and stuff. But
Well, I kind of went over that way. I didn't
leave
go
her
all the way.
alone and you'll be fine.
No, I'll probably just take the boat back and do a little more walking around the lake.
Yep.
Walk over to where I'm going to shoot from tomorrow. And
Yeah, just scope out your position and everything's there. So yeah, kind of. The 6-inch go about 600 feet in the air.
up there somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, over there somewhere.
So normally if I'm shooting it like with the drone with 6-inch, I'm about 100 meters back and 100 meters height.
Will you be
And
shooting?
with a wide angle lens, I get everything.
Will you be shooting this with the drone?
I won't be. Someone else might be flying the drone. It depends if I have
These days,
staff
there's always
available.
drones around. But if somebody has a drone, they're probably not supposed to be flying over.
No. We've shot down quite a few drones in our history. Of people trying to get a little close to the drones and stuff like that, right?
And like I said, I'm actually surprised they're this close together, all the tubes.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of spacing and stuff, but you got to remember we only have so much length from the E-match to our control board. So the bases normally get bundled and then we kind of space it out as best we can.
They're much bigger than the ones we did in the training course.
Oh yes, yeah, those are over there. Those are little red
The little ones,
there.
yeah.
That one we're going to set up just as a spare position. I'll have my own second controller on it so I can manually fire if we have some misfires or something. And and we can always keep the sky and keep it entertaining for everybody.
And you usually send up a test shell, don't you? I always see that.
Normally about 5 minutes, 10 minutes before the actual shoot, it's a wind shell, and it's mainly just to check the wind drift, and then if we have to adjust our angles of our racks if the wind's up.
Weather looks like it should be good tomorrow.
Yeah, I was saying around 15 kilometers steady, 23 kilometer gusts.
No thunderstorms in the offings.
No thunderstorms. It's really winds over 40 kilometers an hour or nearby lightning are the only things that legally shut us down.
Yeah, I guess lightning could be a problem.
Lightning, we evacuate the site. We don't want to be anywhere near here if we get a
lightning strike actually set off everything at once?
It could, yes. Yeah, 100% it could. It only takes a tenth of an amp to light the EMAX.
A lot more than that in a lightning bolt.
Yeah. So, and I think our control unit's running 9 volts, a tenth of an amp it sends to each EMAX. So it's not a huge amount of power.
Nope.
A little 9-volt battery is more than enough to fire an EMAX pretty quickly.
I guess that's why you have to keep your electronic devices well away as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Static can do it too, right?
Yeah.
You saw the little black match tail that comes out of the firework. That's pretty much the most dangerous part of it.
And you were talking about in your storage spaces, making sure you got rid of all the static before you...
Yep. We have poles outside the buildings that you have to touch, and then you touch the building as well, and just to make sure. And then the floor is covered with an anti-static rubber, and then the totes, everything's built with wood. The walls are all wood lined. Anything to prevent static.
Just bleeding it all off before you get anywhere near the stuff that goes boom. That's a technical term, the stuff that goes boom. Okay, well, this is very cool.
Cool, man. Well, I'm glad we could have you here and have a quick look. And
I'll look forward to being over there in an unusual position with not having to fight for position with anybody.
Yeah, and it'll be nice and quiet, so you won't have people talking over your videos and stuff. And your mic will pick up a lot more of the sound.
Yeah, I will shoot ambient sound for that. Won't have my microphone on.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of this conversation it picks up. Me really well. You maybe not so well.
Pretty well. I use the same one for our drones. So.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I'll go find the boat guy.
Yeah, I'll go find Dawn and tell him you're done and pleasure having you.
Thanks so much. If I ever need a summer job, I'll dust off the certificate and come and help out. Okay, well, there you go. That's the setup for tomorrow night's Canada Day. Take another look there. I really pictured them as being much more widespread than that. Now, where's my boat guy? Let's walk a little bit more around. Maybe we'll find him. In any event, I didn't really go down to this end. Some geese, kind of teenage gawky geese. Oh wow, it goes way down here. As long as I'm on Willow Island, the first time ever, I should walk around a bit more. All these years of looking at it. I won't walk all the way down to the point down there. I think we'll just peter out in trees. There's another fire pit here. Very nice indeed. Willow Island, ladies and gentlemen. The place to be if you want to set up fireworks. They used to set them up somewhere else. I can remember fireworks shows down at more over towards Douglas Park, where the big hill is that I've walked up a few times. And we watched them from the roof of the Science Center way back when I worked at the Science Center, but that's been a while. Hello. Can you take me back now?
Sure.
Take another walk down. The island is so much bigger than I thought it was.
It's hard to tell from over there.
Yeah.
Why people like it.
It's,
You know this was Regina Book Club Island?
yeah, I did that. I did know that.
Club was right here.
Yeah. No, it's like 4 times the size I pictured it being, easily. Oh, quack. Oh, I said those were geese, but they're clearly ducks.
Notice the absence of, well, not many geese.
Yes. That's thanks to your fence.
You want to drive around the island or you just want to go straight back?
Oh, we can go around.
Yeah, sure.
For my vast crowd of viewers. Why, sometimes there's 4 or 5 people watching at once.
That's the problem. You can always watch later, right?
Yeah, I usually get a couple hundred maybe views by the time it's all done. This one might get more because it's interesting. The ones that get the most tend to be when I walk around the university because there's so many international students and want to know what it looks like before they get here.
Oh, okay.
So, and I've talked to lots of people who moved to Regina and they watched my videos before they moved here to see what the city was like. So I ought to get a commission from the Chamber of Commerce or something.
More people, they might have been students are from India.
Yeah.
They're on a boat tour. Apparently they live streamed me to India. That was probably the most watched Regina-based programming in India for a whole 5 minutes.
That's a lot of people.
It is. I'm sure they're all coming here to see me too now.
We're going this way?
Which way would you like?
Well, since I'm sitting on this side, that would be the...
Well, if you go this way, you have the ledge in front of you.
Okay, let's go this
You
way.
can- you can still face them. We'll just turn around.
Okay, now we're boating in Regina. That's the boat landing over there where I started. I tried to park in that parking lot, but it was full. So again, in my Shards Excalibur series, everything starts right there where those rocks are. And the Lady of the Lake shows up in the water right where we are right now. I wrote a young adult fantasy series where the Lady of the Lake from King Arthur shows up right here in the lake. And by the end of the series, Excalibur is buried in Wascana Lake on the west side of the Willow Island. So we'll float right over it as we go by.
Why don't you base it on the island?
What's that?
Why don't you base something on the island?
I'd never been on the island, so I couldn't write about it. Well, if I ever write more in that series, I'll probably be on the island. Come around here, you'll see the legislative building. Oh, yay. I'll be over there for the fireworks, I guess. I've walked around the lake many times, but I haven't been out on a boat with it. Not that I can see anything on the screen. Right. So tomorrow night, about 10 o'clock, I will set up right over here on this little point of land. Actually, I'm walking over there, not going around the lake. I feel like I should do a queen wave as I go by.
Well, they're changing it night for maybe.
Maybe not.
It'll be busier tomorrow.
Yeah, it should be nice weather, it looks like. So. No, I don't think so. No, I didn't know about that.
Guys are cutting grass.
Yeah.
We started boathouse there.
I've seen pictures of it. I wasn't sure where it was.
One of the daughters wrote a story 20 years ago. Just read the boathouse.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of it, but I didn't know exactly where it was. There's the Richmond Bridge over there. I was trying to decide if it's worth flying or not.
What we're going to do, we're going to drive by the ledge dock, and everybody's going to come try and get a boat ride, and we'll just drive away on them.
Switch
And
over
they'll
to,
be mad.
I'll switch over to the other side carefully here. Nice different view of the ledge. Wish I could see the screen. See the other fountain over there. The lake also looks bigger when you're on it. Here we are now coming back up to Willow Island. Southern tip, northern tip, southern tip. Tip. Downtown over there. Robert's Plaza over there. It's an apartment building. I will say, since my foot has been hurting, this is a much easier way to walking in Regina than actually walking. Make sure my phone is fully charged for the fireworks tomorrow night because its battery has not been lasting. Over there, we're going back around the we started with. So the island, like everything else in the lake, is artificial. The lake is artificial. All the islands are artificial. Really a kind of a Depression era project that made the islands. And then, that's more than 20 years ago now, I guess, or 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. They drained this entire lake and deepened it. And it doesn't be salt in the winter for one reason, so fish can overwinter, and also to reduce algae growth. Will gradually silt up again because they can lake in Saskatchewan, but not for many, many years. We'll have to do something again. There's Island, you can see our destination up ahead. Off the port bow, sorry, starboard bow. whole series of books called Swallows and Amazons about kids messing around with boats. That's where I learned a lot of terminology you can learn. And I do know the difference between port and starboard. Stop recording once I get up under the boat there, I think. That will have been today's Walking in Regina, so I think that's a pretty good way to start things. Tomorrow night, there will be fireworks. I don't know if I'll do any walking around the lake before that. Probably not. I mean, I might. I could do a live stream. Thank you, Captain.
You're quite welcome. There, you got on the island, you got to ride around the island.
I know, it's a pretty good day.
And just to know, on Sundays in July and a couple weeks in August, between 11 and 2, anybody can come across for free. Just bring your own picnic stuff.
Great.
Okay.
I'll mention that if it didn't come through on the microphone.
Try not to talk. I thought it was off. So, take care.
See ya. Well, that was fun. So we'll just go on the lookout here for one last look at Willow Island, and that'll be today's Walking in Regina. I just wish I could have seen the screen. I have no idea if I was pointing. Oh, there goes our ride back to Thanks so much for walking with me again. Extended hiatus here. This is, after all, our prettiest walking weather. Well, it can be quite hot later in the week, but today's quite nice. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for walking with me. When I can't see the screen, I will sign off. Bye for now. Before I can find the button to press to sign off, which is pretty funny. Go in the shade of this tree, and then maybe I can find the right button. There, I can see it. Okay, signing off now. Thanks for walking with me.